While we're waiting on Marvin to pull that up, Coach Niblett, if you will, just talk about the process and leading up and everything that's kind of on your heart right now.
Well, this is an emotional time for me and emotional time for our program. I've been coaching for almost 30 years. I've been a head coach for 26 years. It's the first time I've ever been a part of something like this. And many of you on here don't know me, don't know what I stand for, don't know what our program stands for, what we teach our kids on a day-to-day basis. I'm a passionate man who wants to impact kids' lives and add value to them. And I just want you to know from our standpoint, like, we don't condone fighting. You come to our practices, if you break into something, you come off the field. If you'll watch during the game in the second quarter, they had a guy run his mouth at our guy sits up back. I took our guy off the field. I said, hey, if you can't keep your mouth closed, you won't play tonight. Their guy didn't get pulled off the field. So I'm going to handle it from our standpoint. You can be assured of that. And I do handle it. And our kids' character during the game was impeccable. And I knew going into the week, after watching last week's game against Winder, that there were going to be some issues. And I had warned our kids all week about, hey, it's going to be a physical game, but if you watch them, they talk a lot during the game. And you have got to do a good job of keeping your composure. And for the most part, all the way up to the end, that's what our kids did. You go back and watch all the film. But we had a kid get punched 4 times in the face in the end zone with his hands up. And they don't eject 77, and they call offsetting penalties, and our kid's got his hands up. But if 77's not in the game, what happens at the end does not happen. So let me go back to the start. We're on the field to start warm-ups. Not sure what they're showing. And we're on the field warming up, doing activation. We got there before they did. When we go in our locker room, we change. Our kids go out. You know, we kind of warm up, do bands. Our kids are just kind of out there. Well, they're not there. Well, they show up. And they're on the back line, and their system AD comes down to me and goes, hey, we need you to get off the field. And I was like, sir, excuse me? He's like, yeah, nobody normally gets here before we do. We're walking the field. We need you to get off the field. And I was like, all right. So I moved our guys off the field. They walk all the way down through our end, have a prayer, do a chant, and then walk back through us again to go back to the other end. Well, our kids don't say one word. Not one word. But then when warm-ups were over with, I've never been talked to coming off the field like I was by their players coming off the field. And I just was like, told the kids in warm-ups, it's like, look, just get ready. I'm just telling you, get ready. We were in a tough situation, but our kids did an unbelievable job. But the officials, I'm just telling you, from the start to the finish, you know, I just have an issue with when you don't manage the game. And I just got to tell them, hey, the guy punched our guy. There were 6 instances where our guys got punched. There was 4 incidents where our guys got their helmets ripped off, and nothing was done at all. At some point in time, you got to take up for yourself. Right, wrong, or indifferent. But at the end, the problem I have with the end is this. The week before, they scored 78 points. And at the end of the game, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but I call it etiquette. Their starters were still in the game. Their starting running back was the one that scored the last touchdown, number 10. So I knew we held them to 0 points. But let me tell you something. If this ruling holds up, what we've done is we've set a precedent that, hey, look, if you're down 42, just get them to get in a fight. You can ruin their playoffs also. Because I have an issue with that. Because this was instigated. This is not something that just happened. And you can say whatever you want to say. But I know our players. And look, this is the most unified team I've coached in a long, long time. And they're brothers. And I'm going to ask you a question. If you got siblings, if you got a wife, you got a husband, and they were on that field and they got their helmet ripped off, and then got jabbed in the face, what would you do? Oh, you might stay on the sideline. Well, let me tell you this. When your brother doesn't have a helmet on and a guy takes a 40-yard sprint and hits him and sideswipes him, you're just going to stand on the sideline? No, you're going to do what's natural. And you're going to protect your brothers. And that's the way I raise these kids, to have each other's back. And that's what I think needs to be known here. The guys that threw punches, hey, they need to be out. They need to be ejected. But the guys that tried to help their brothers, I don't think they should. I do not. And I don't understand how 11 guys on defense, how we had one of them that threw a punch. He should be ejected. The other 10 that weren't involved, I don't understand how you eject guys. What, is there a time limit to get off the field? Like, are they supposed to sprint off? We got 2 guys on the other end helping the quarterback up off the ground. They don't even go down there. And they're on the ejection list. The guys that got their helmets pulled off and punched, they're just standing in the middle of the field with their hands up. They got ejected. The credibility of the ejections does not hold up with that. I mean, that's what I don't understand. And look, I'm going to always follow the rules. Mr. Scott, you can always count on me to follow the rules and hold our kids accountable to doing the right things. But let me tell you something. The only thing I struggle with today is this. Look, God's blessed me with an opportunity to get to do what I do every day. And I love these kids to death. And I'm always going to have these kids back. Right, wrong, indifferent. Ever how this goes. They know I got their back. And they know I love them. And they love each other. If you come here and you walk up in our top floor, you listen to our guys when they leave every day, they tell each other they love each other. So if you're going to expect guys that love each other to sit by and let somebody take advantage of somebody, all right, and then cause an issue, you're wrong. And you know what? In this day and time, we're trying to teach team. We're not trying to teach individuality. The things that they did on their side with the kid ripping the helmets off and 77 hitting our guy was individuality. When our guys came to our guys' rescue, that was team. Now, maybe we should have done the wrong thing and been right, but I think we did the right thing, and then maybe we're considered to be wrong. But all I ask is for you in your heart to do the right thing, to open your heart up for these kids. This ain't about me, but this is about these kids that have worked their tail off for this opportunity. And we drove 6 hours. We drove 6 hours to this game, playing a team that's averaging 551 yards on offense. They're averaging over 40 points a game. They just scored 78 points. We got to sit in a hotel for 4.5 hours before we go over to the field. Our kids have dealt with a whole lot. And then all of a sudden we win 42-0 with 2 minutes left to go in the third. And then now this is going to happen. And now we're going to take this away from our kids. I can't stand by for that. That's why we're on the appeal today. And if you got a heart and you know right from wrong, you know this is wrong. This is wrong. I don't understand what you expect kids to do. The other thing is when the side judge said, go get them, we had kids standing there. How does a kid not know that he wasn't talking to them? So that's another discrepancy that was told to our kids. I was told to go on the field twice. On the field twice. I've never been told to go on the field. I've always been told to stay behind the white. So I don't understand that either. So there's management that was lost there. So there's a lot with this. And look, I'm all about bylaws and rules. But this rule is not black or white in this instance. There's a gray area. And there's a safety area. And I have an issue with this. When a kid should have been ejected earlier in the game, he should have been ejected. If he does, listen to me now, if he's ejected, the kid doesn't get sideswiped. You watch the video. When they ripped our helmet off and they punched our guy, you look at our guys. Nobody charged anybody, and the sideline was still the sideline. But when the guy sideswiped our guy, I'm just asking you, what would you do? I know what you do. You do what's natural. And what's natural for me is I'm going to protect my teammates. I'm going to protect them. So I just pray in your heart that you'll do the right thing by these kids. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Coach.